Ba- Oh my gosh.
Hey.
Hey, that feels good.
Greg,
Feels good to be doing that.
Marcus. Oh my gosh. Welcome back. We haven't done that in how long? It's been
Months
Been quite
since
some
months.
since
time.
October, right?
Yeah.
Gosh. We did
That
get
was
to go
a
longer than other talk shows. I
that was a
think,
World Series champion. Dun 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 dun. Dun.
as you can
Wow,
see,
feels good.
I still don't know where the mirrors are. I was going to point to the trophy and I pointed over here. As you can see, the World Series Dodgers are back. Guys, they're in Tokyo today, but most importantly, Blue Review's back. So we are
Blue
here
Review is back.
8:30, 8:55, as you can see, powered by our friends at LAX. Changes arriving daily, and we all know that, so I'll get into more later. But I just want to welcome everybody back to the Blue Review. Myself, Parker Bell, if you're a first-time viewer, got Greg Bergman next to me and Marcus Grant down below. We've been doing this for, I want to say, nearly 2 full seasons, but kind of sprinkled in now and there. How are
So
we all
you guys have
doing?
been doing it for 2 full seasons. Last year, I was saying to Greg, the Dodgers have been World Series champions in 100% of the seasons I have been on this show.
Yes, you are, and that's why. Look, you're the good luck charm. We got to keep it going. We got to get 2 in a row now. And
Let's get the band back together. Let's run it back. Let's run it back
that,
for 2025.
that's right. And Parker, look, we got some new graphics and stuff here. We got a World Series trophy. It's all looking a little bit nicer around here.
Just like LAX, changes are arriving daily, even at Blue Review. We got new looks. We're gonna have, new guests just to kind of preview the season. We're gonna have a lot that's a little more different than what we did last season, and it's gonna be fun. And of course, some regular occurring faces that we've seen before, our friends like Jeff Spiegel and Clint Cias, all these guys. So I'm excited, Greg. I just wanted to, before we get into really the Tokyo series, I just want to ask both of you. I mean, what are you most excited for just for the Blue Review this season?
Wow. That's a good question. I think I'm just excited about being able to do this again. I mean, I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
with you guys last season. I mean, obviously having it be Shohei's first season and us getting to come in here every morning and just marvel over the amazing. I mean, look, Parker, I know you got to see him because you watch the Angels a lot more closely than Greg and I do, but um Greg, I mean, one of the things we talked about last year was that for as good as we thought Shohei was, somehow he was even better. And it was cool to watch that every day. And so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing stuff like that again.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just seeing what this team is actually going to do because as good as that team last year, we always say every year it feels like with the Dodgers, we say this is the best team I've ever seen on paper. I've never seen a better baseball team than this, and it just keeps getting better and better. And this year seems to be a better team than it was last year. So it's just really exciting to see what it's going to look like. And like Marcus said, like waking up in the morning and talking Dodger baseball, there's nothing better than that, is there?
There really isn't. There really isn't.
No.
And you said it best, Greg. This, again, one of the best teams I've ever seen on paper. Like you
It's
said, we keep
insanity.
saying it every single year. So with that being said, why don't we I think what we want to do this first episode, and Greg, you and I were talking a little bit before the show, is just highlight some of those massive parts of this team. A la Otani, what's next? What are we going to see from Sasaki and Yamamoto in these opening starts? Vice versa, Yamamoto first, and just more of that kind of what are the highlights this season. So, Greg, I'll start with you. We want to maybe get with Otani first. He's playing at home, and we're going to see some things, of course, that we saw last season. But maybe there's going to be a little more this season as well if he ramps his way back up into throwing. But I'll start with, of course, the hitting. What's next for Otani?
Yeah, I don't even know what is next for Otani. If you go 50-50 and was it 59 and 54, it's just ridiculous numbers that he put up last year. I don't expect him to do better than that this year. I don't even expect him, Marcus, to match what he did last year. And honestly, I think with this team, it's almost better if he doesn't, if that makes any sense at all. That means
Mhm.
all the other guys are going to be stepping up. You have Mookie, when he gets better from being sick, if he's Mookie and Freddie's Freddie and then Teoscar's Teoscar, like all these guys that they have up and down this lineup, if they just hit and play good defense, they're going to win 100+ games with no, like without any issue whatsoever. So I don't need Shohei to do all the amazing things that he did. It'd be fun to watch. I'd
Mhm.
love it if he did, but really just be the level of play that he is, just what he's done over his entire career for the most part, and I'll be very happy. I don't need him. I don't need this 50-50 again, but I'll take it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, look, I think when you talk about the 50-50 last year, I think at some point, some of it started because look, there's a point where they sort of needed him, right? I mean, Mookie Betts goes down with the broken hand, and they move Shohei to the top of the lineup, and there were guys that were sort of in and out and struggling. And so some of it was I think he felt like he had to step up his game. Then I think, Greg, there was a point where he just decided to make it a side quest, right? Where he just started hitting so many home runs and stealing so many bases. He was like, oh, well, let's see how many I can get in each of those categories. But I think you're right. I mean, you talk about the depth of this lineup. I was talking to my dad a couple weeks ago, and he was like, what would happen if they didn't, or what would have to happen for them to not make the playoffs? And I'm like, I don't even want to think about it, because that means so many terrible things had to happen. You're talking about so many injuries and so many guys who just forgot how to hit or forgot how to play baseball, that it just seems sort of unfathomable, because, you go 1 through 9 and there are very few, if any, weak spots in this lineup. I mean, look, Parker, we talk about this team, and I think, if you want to nitpick, which is sort of what we have to do on this show because this team is so loaded, maybe the outfield defense isn't great. Maybe you're still trying to figure out who your 5th starter potentially is going to be. You still have a few bullpen issues because you just have some arms that are trying to get ready. But in the grand scheme of things, because this team is built for October, between now and Labor Day, there's plenty of time to get all this stuff worked out and still be the best team in the division.
No, 100%, Greg. And I'm sorry, Marcus. And the thing is, well, to both your points, 100%. Also, real quick, Marcus, we need to learn more about Papa Grant. I need to kind of get into the Papa Grant lore, because last season, you talked about how often you two are talking Dodgers. Maybe one day we got to get him on the show and get Mr. Grant's
Would
opinion.
love it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, I will hit up. I'll hit up Larry and see if he wants to play
Larry.
at some point.
Larry Grant, that's a strong name. Sounds like a professional ball player. Yeah, but so to your point, Marcus, I mean, they just approached this offseason with such, and for lack of better terms, greed. And, Friedman and the ownership, they knew what they were doing. This team is built for October. And like you said, maybe they're not figuring out just yet at the beginning of the season who that 5th starter is going to be, but they have 10 serviceable front end starters, when fully healthy.
Right.
So realistically, it doesn't matter. And that's going to be a crazy theme this year when you're thinking about it. Like, it doesn't matter who you throw out on the field. I think, Greg, you just mentioned this. They're going to win 100 games plus. Talk about the outfield depth. You're looking at guys like Conforto, who might be the next Teoscar, just the way that they kind of were performing in spring training. You don't know. So I'm just excited because this is going to be one of those seasons where, again, you don't really know what's going to happen, and we could be surprised by things. But what more do these Dodgers have to prove to us? I think it's just going to be they're gonna surprise us with raking records and stuff like that at this point.
So let's get into you mentioned Michael Conforto. I mean, there's so much good about this team, and Michael Conforto is probably gonna be something good. I don't know how you feel, Marcus, because I was not too excited about that Michael Conforto signing. I really don't feel that Michael Conforto is that great of a player. He's good. He's obviously a very good baseball player. He got that 1-year deal. When he was if to have him play every day wasn't exciting to me in the slightest. I mean, Teoscar, when he came over last year, I was like, oh yeah, that guy's going to be a stud. And he turned out to be a stud. I don't have that same feeling towards Conforto. I mean, in spring training so far, he's been destroying the ball as of late. So, good for him. I really hope that he does become that guy. What are your expectations for Conforto?
I think you just want him to play some decent defense, give you some quality at bats here and there. I don't know that he's going to. I mean, we'll see if he's an everyday player or not. I think, though, having the benefit of being stuck in this lineup makes it hard to pitch around him, right? I mean, he's going to get pitches to hit because he's going to get great pitches to hit because, opposing pitchers are going to attack him because they don't want him on base for whoever is, coming after him, and they don't need him to be like a table setter or anything like that. So he's going to get opportunities, I think, to swing the bat very, very well. So, I don't expect him to come in here and do what Teoscar did last year. But if he can give them quality at bats when he's in the field, when he's in the lineup, if he can give them some decent defense, look, if he has like a surprise Miguel Rojas type season, I'm cool with that. Right? I'm totally cool with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's two sides to the same story for this Dodgers team. Individually, because there's so much talent, there's less pressure on really each player. Players like Conforto. I think Roberts chose Conforto as his pick to click this year. You know, a year away from Oracle Park does people some justice. But
Right.
you know, from the Bay Area, you would know, Marcus. You know, some years in LA does you service. But also, I think it's the pressure's more so just on the team in general to go back to back and on some of the bigger names. So we might see some guys like the NLCS MVP Tommy Edman have another great year in terms of, oh, on any other team, you know, I think that would just be one of their best players. But on this Dodgers team is going to be like their sixth best player. It's crazy. But we got to get into Yamamoto in the pitching. Greg, we're going to see him, of course, open up against the Cubs. Just what are you expecting to see? And I mean, this year could be, I think he's going to be the number one, so it could be pretty insane in terms of the numbers we see.
So I mean, I look at Yamamoto as the number one starter
Mhm.
for this team. I know there's probably other guys that like Blake Snell. Most people think that he's going to be the closest thing you have to a Cy Young Award winner because he has won it twice. A lot of people think that even Glasnow, if he's healthy, he should be the top there. Um, I think Yamamoto is going to be the guy that we really look at throughout this year and has the best chance of winning a Cy Young if anybody on this team does. I have really, really high hopes for him because of what he has shown me in his last year. I know he got injured last year, but his start in New York last year was dominating in the regular season. And then when you finally like obviously the first game against the Padres was not so good, but once he got through that in the postseason, he was phenomenal yet again. He is a big game pitcher. He finds a way to get a lot of guys out in heavy doses. I think that is our number one guy. I think that's the guy that has the best chance at a Cy Young Award. But I don't really think anybody's going to go more than 150 innings. But I am very, very, very high on Yamamoto this year.
No, I'm with you. And it was weird because I don't know if it's weird is the word, but certainly, when they gave him the ball in New York for the World Series, even I think we talked about him going against the Padres in what was a gotta have it game
Yep.
in the playoffs. I felt okay about it just because, as you mentioned, I went back to that start he had at Yankee Stadium during the regular season and how great it was. And just realizing that he just seems to be a guy who shows up in the big moments. I thought it was interesting. You mentioned nobody's going to pitch a ton of innings, which, they may not have a Cy Young Award winner just because nobody's going to get enough innings to get any serious consideration. So, in that respect, maybe they don't really load up on those kinds of individual accolades. But I think the fact that we're sitting here and we're debating, who's the ace, who's the number one? Is it Yamamoto? Is it Blake Snell, who is a Cy Young Award winner? Is it Tyler Glasnow, who has the stuff to win a Cy Young if he can ever put it all together and stay healthy? That just sort of tells you where this team is now. Greg, I mean, when we look at this rotation, though, you got to start talking about the back end of it. Dustin May is back. Does he get an opportunity here? At some point when Clayton Kershaw is healthy and ready to go, where does he slide into this whole thing? I think those are sort of the issues that the Dodgers are still kind of working out. And I would expect we may see some mixing and matching in the back part of that rotation as we go through the first month or two.
Oh yeah, Parker. It's very much going to be that way, and especially they're going to say it's a 5-man rotation. It is not a 5-man rotation.
No.
It is going to be a 6-man rotation. They are going to just give people extra days and just use a different starter in different places. Gonsolin, when he's healthy again, he'll get some starts as well. And oh yeah, we forgot about that one guy that probably will be around here, and I don't know, May, June somewhere. Shohei Ohtani going to be pitching this year. I mean, there's just that guy is going to get in there as well. So, like what they're going to do with this pitching, Dustin May, I think could be, if he can stay healthy, obviously he hasn't so far in his career, but if he can stay healthy, he has some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the amount of break that he has on his pitches is insane. So if that's your fifth guy, they're going to be just fine, Parker.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it. Like you said, they're going to call it a 5-man rotation, but we mentioned earlier in this episode, there's nearly 10 serviceable pitchers. I think it's not a question of talent, but workload, Marcus, like you mentioned. And I'm projecting, I think I'm just going to go out and say it first episode. I think Snell pitches the most innings for Dodgers this season, probably over 160. But then I look at everyone else and there might be a bit of a drop off. We know how Glasnow kind of trails off towards a very specific part of the season every year. And with Yamamoto and his every 6, it's going to be interesting. But I think he also has one of the most innings pitched in his career too this year. I think that the way that they've set things up. Greg just had a ray of light come through. I liked that. As soon as we started talking about innings pitch, it was like, ah. But yeah, I think Yamamoto's really going to surprise some people. What lessons he learned in his first year from those big games, bringing it into his second year. I think he has one of these seasons where he might pitch a 3 flat ERA with over 150. And if he does that, he might get some votes, depending on, the strikeout rate and how things look per nine. But it's so crazy to talk about the bountiful amount of talent that they have. Sasaki, one of those names we didn't really get to.
Oh,
I know we mentioned the back nine or the back of the bullpen, excuse me, with like May and everybody, or we didn't even get to the bullpen, but the back of the starting five and everything. But Sasaki, guys, pitching game 2, are we going to see a similar start like Yamamoto, where it kind of got rocked? Is there going to be some shaky nerves, or are you expecting him to just get out there and kick ass? Greg. Sorry, or Marcus. Yes, please.
Sure. I'm very curious, right? Because I thought one of his, I think maybe his first start in spring training was really, really good. I'm very curious to watch the velocity for him, because early in spring training, I thought the velo was up. I thought it looked really good. That was kind of a concern for him coming over, was that last couple of years, the velocity was down a little bit. So I'm sort of keeping an eye on that. If he's, around 97, 98, or if he's more, 94, 95, 96, consistently, I think that's going to have something to do with it. Look, I think there's going to be nerves, right? I mean, everybody's showing up to see, Yamamoto and Ohtani and Sasaki, right? It's a homecoming for these guys. So I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of nerves going out there. I'm hoping it's not quite what Yamamoto's first start was last year in Korea. That was ungood. So let's keep our fingers crossed that he gets a little bit better than that. But I think he's going to be a really interesting piece to watch this year.
Yeah, look, and even if he does have an outing like Yamamoto, isn't it? We just saw what could happen. Yamamoto had that, and he became a really good pitcher. I mean, Yamamoto just in the playoffs, he had four outings. Besides that first one against the Padres where he gave up 5, he gave up 3 total through the next 3. So I mean, like, you can become a better pitcher. The nerves are going to be there. Whatever happens with Sasaki, I think he's just going to he'll be fine no matter what. I wouldn't be surprised if he had an outing like Yamamoto. I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised by it because of what's going on there. But at the same time, he's got some nasty stuff too. Like there was an article in Yahoo a week or 2 ago that just the pitch track system can't pick up what he's actually throwing. Like they don't know, they can't tell if it's a slider, if it's like a change up. They don't know. They can't pick up what it is because it's just, he has different like his arm angle is exactly the same. So what they were saying is that when he throws, he has the same exact release point on everything. He doesn't even know which way it's going to go. If it's going to go inside, arms, if it's going to go outside, it's going to go middle. Like, he doesn't know what's actually going to happen. They're likening it to a knuckleball, and it's not a knuckleball. So it's what if he can throw the splitter with regularity and it's a wipeout splitter. This guy could be really, really good. And for the amount of money they gave him, get out of here.
Yeah, that splitter is filthy. I mean, I watched some replays of some of his innings that he pitched this spring, and that splitter, when it's on, it is just filthy. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited about it. I'm not excited enough to wake up at 3:00 in the morning, mind you.
Okay. Let's get into that. I am planning, and Marcus, this is gonna sound crazy, but again, I'm only
planning
27, but so I'm gonna have to change my day around. I'm gonna have to get a nap in, and I'm planning on being at our friend's Cosm to check out the game. I know they're doing a watch party to check out the Fox broadcast, so I'm gonna hope to get there. I don't think anybody else from ESPN will be joining me though.
I would also maybe I'll just say it might be easy to get in, but who knows? There's a lot of diehards out there who are willing to like you time shift their whole day just to go and watch this thing.
Oh,
yeah, Parker. I would love to go with you, but I'll be sleeping. So I will watch all the highlights and stuff. I'm sorry, people. I'm not waking up at 2:00 in the morning to go to Cosm and watch. 3:00.
Well,
3:00 is bedtime.
Well, when we go live, if at 8:30 I start dozing off,
then we'll know.
We'll know what really happened. Yes,
but I'm excited for it though.
exactly. Yeah.
the season is starting, Parker. Like we are finally getting back. I know it's been a long time since the Blue Review was back, so it feels good to be in this seat again and talking about Dodger baseball every morning.
Yeah, what is that, a Tony song? Feels good.
It
Did I get
is.
that right?
It
Oh,
is. Very
nice.
good.
Yeah,
Look at you. Look at you.
Pulling my
He's an
90s
old
knowledge.
soul.
It is. Can I be old man yelling at cloud for just a moment here?
Yeah,
Always.
let's do it.
I still think it's weird. Like I understand baseball's desire to grow the game and include more markets, and especially when you have so many top level Japanese players coming over. Like I get it, but part of me still wants the season to start the Tuesday after the NC2A championship and have the first game be in Cincinnati. Like that's just
Yes.
it's always what it
Yes.
was. I want to go back to that. It's going to be weird that the Dodgers and Cubs play a couple of games that count, and then they come back and they play some exhibition games, and then they go back to playing real games again. It's just weird.
Okay, you know what else is also weird? Yeah, coming back and doing that, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm totally with you on this 100%. Like, just have the games either not mean anything and still go over there and come back. That's fine, but don't have games that actually matter over in Japan.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I hate it. I am fully with you on this in every sense. And I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah,
It's the vibes and the energy. It's electric. I'm watching some of these
Oogie, oogie, oogie,
podcasts. And, yeah.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking it, so it's fine.
Out there in Tokyo, it's like a World Series environment in terms of
Oh yeah,
the support that they're pouring in for not just their homegrown players, but just the Dodgers in general. Like they are having so much fun out there. But I tend to agree with you guys. I think, and this plays into the factor, like Mookie, who we didn't get to in this episode, we'll talk more about tomorrow, was sick, unfortunately.
yeah.
And Dave Roberts was saying he lost 15 pounds. He was dehydrated. I'm sure that the large amount of travel did not help, Greg.
No, it doesn't help. And also, I mean, I'm going through it right now. I look, I'm no athlete of Mookie Betts' stature, but at the same time, like this is not going away. I'm having to turn off my microphone to cough because it's been 2.5 weeks that I'm doing this. So I get it. Like this whatever sickness is going around is killer. So whatever's going on with Mookie, just stay healthy. Don't play. Get back over here. Like we need you healthy for the long run, not for playing 2 games randomly in the middle of March in Japan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but that's wild. He lost 15 pounds. I'm hoping a lot of that's water weight. So we just get Mookie hydrated again and kind of bring some of that back.
Yeah, when you hear dehydration, I mean, at least that's a good sign of it's not anything else. Like who was that on the Celtics? Not to go full basketball, but I think it was Porzingis. He had like an unnamed viral illness.
Yikes.
Everybody was like, "What? What is that supposed to mean?" So at least we know Mookie, should recover well on this end. But guys, first episode is
in the books.
Yeah,
in the books. Greg, Marcus, I'm just so happy to be back. We got a new look. Everything's looking clean. We'll have a little bit more. Maybe we'll put our X usernames down there or something.
Put some handles. Put some social media handles.
Put our names. Put the social media handles. And by the way, just want to say thank you very much for the chat. The chat is back. I'm really happy to see everybody in there. Please be in here every single day from 8:30 to 8:55 and tell all your friends this is the place to be for early morning Dodger talk. We're going to talk about absolutely everything and get it. And we will take your questions. I follow along with the chat. I know Parker does. I'm sure Marcus does as well. Mm-hmm. We'll follow along with it. We'll see if we see something that we like. We'll absolutely talk about it. But thank you very much for being a part of the Blue Review. We're back. This is now starting all the way through World Series time.
Let's go.
Here, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 8:55.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to LAX for powering this episode of Blue Review and all season long. LAX is happening. So for more information, check it out at flylax.com/transforminglax. We will be back tomorrow. Marcus Grant, Greg Bergen. Actually, Marcus, quick note. Are you going to be
I will not. The next 3 Tuesdays, I have a prior engagement. But I'm here the rest of the week, Wednesday through Friday. And then, after we get past the NC2A tournament, I'm here with you every day.
There it is. Perfect. We'll be back tomorrow reacting to the game. We'll see if I'll be awake. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you again to LAX, and thank you to everyone in the chat. We will see you mañana, 8:30, 8:55, Blue Review.
See you.
Bum, bum.
No.